What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the Station Bakery. Today I'll be making a vintage cake, which is going to serve as a signature cake option on my menu for my cake business. I am happy to share with you that today's video is sponsored by Kutek. Kutek brings professionalism to the kitchen with their products to help you do what you love confidently. Kutek's cake decorating kits are great for bakers of all stages and offers a wide range of cake decorating tools. I will be using the Kutek 177-piece decorating kit that comes with nearly everything I need to make this vintage fairy cake. The kit comes with icing smoothers, piping tips and bags, other decorating tools, and my absolute favorite, their metal turntable. You can learn more about their products and grab what you need in the link below. What's special about this cake is that this cake is going to be considered a signature item on my menu. What this means is that these are cakes that come pre-designed where there are little to no customizations. I'm going to have the set design, which is the vintage style cake. The only customizations that I will be allowing are color customizations as well as the option to add on a custom topper. But we'll get more into that later in the video as we talk about the business side of selling this cake. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the decorating. This video will be for content purposes only, which means that I will not be wearing gloves in this video. I don't feel the need to waste multiple pairs of gloves when no one will be eating this cake. Well, except maybe for my family. I am starting off by filling up my piping bags using the quick icing tip. If you have not seen my video on the quickest way to ice a cake, then be sure to check that video out. This is the method that I will be using in this video as well, because again, this is a signature cake, which means this is something that I don't want to spend too much time on creating. So I will be ensuring that I am working efficiently throughout this entire process. Now, I will warn you that this process is not going to be perfect, as this is my first time doing this, but I will be using this as a guideline to make a list of checks and balances that I will use in order to ensure that this product does not take me a long time to make. I am using 3 6-inch chocolate cake layers along with my vanilla dream cream buttercream. You'll be able to find the recipes along with all the supplies and tools that I will be using in this video linked in the description below. This quick icing tip is one of my most favorite icing tips, as it is going to help me to ice this cake quickly and efficiently. Once I get my layer of buttercream on, then I go in with this icing smoother. Now, this is much smaller than I normally use, but I wanted to give it a shot, give it a go. I've seen so many awesome bakers out there be able to ice their cakes with this. However, for me, it just was not being my jam. I'm going to need a lot more practice with this. So therefore, I will be going back to my original method using my metal scraper, because again, this is supposed to be an efficient process. So I'm going to need to take some time to learn how to use this in a more efficient way. So I did end up using my metal icing scraper. You can see it there off to the side to get my icing smooth. I hear that a lot of people struggle with getting smooth sides on their cakes, but there is a trick and a method when you ice your cakes. It's not just a thing that you just go in and you just do, but it's all in the way that you handle and manage your tools. The angles that you use, as well as the pressure and the speed that you go, can make all the difference in how smooth your icing comes out on your cake. And as you can see here, I am fairly pleased with myself on how smooth and sharp this cake is. Now here are the colors that I am going to be using for this cake. I kind of wanted to go with a different route of using like a tan and mixing it with like a bright pink color. So I am using the tan as my base here. What I really like about doing the quick icing method is that it allows you to only have to use just a small amount of colored icing to get that final coat. Okay, let me give you a few tips here when we're playing with piping tips. Get it? Let me give you some tips with the piping tips. Okay, anyways. So the Kutek cake decorating kit is really awesome because it comes with basically everything that you need in order to decorate a cake, including tons of piping tips to do a lot of really cool designs with. When you're doing a vintage cake like this, you probably want to practice your piping before you start actually piping onto the cake. What Kutek does is that they also provide you with the pamphlet for the different piping tips, and you're able to see and get a baseline of the different designs and styles that can be done with the different tips. Another tip on top of that tip about the piping tips is Kutek also provides this tool which is called a coupler. This coupler is a plastic nozzle. This allows you to switch out your piping tips without having to get a new piping bag. All you need is one bag with the coupler, and then you're able to switch out those different piping tips, which is really, really cool. I'm really giving y'all game here, okay? I'm really giving y'all game. So I have 2 piping bags here. What I recommend is having each of your colors in a separate piping bag with no tip. So what I want you to do is take a piping bag for all of your colors, snip the tip off, and then you're gonna fill that with whatever color buttercream you have. Do that for all of your colors. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna have a separate bag here. You're gonna cut this tip off and you're gonna put the coupler inside of this bag. You can slip your buttercream into this bag with the coupler, and then you'll have access to all of the piping tips and be able to use the design like with each of the piping tips. And if I'm ready to switch out the color, I simply just take it out and drop in the next batch. I'm going to start off with this star tip. This is K27 piping tip. So let me be real with you. I put this portion in the video as if I did this before I actually started piping my cake, but this actually came after I finished my cake. But I wanted to share this with you in this part of the video. Practice your piping before you start working on your cake. I cannot stress that enough, especially when it comes down to this vintage style cake. Try out different piping tips, get to see which ones you would prefer to use, and then make a plan on where you're gonna use them, how you're gonna use them. It's going to save you so much time in the process of decorating your cake and potentially help you to come up with a better product. And as you practice and get to know your piping tips more and more, you'll be able to just automatically have your go-to piping tips that you know are going to work on the type of cake that you're trying to create. So again, I'm making this video all about efficiency and making smart moves when decorating our cakes. Plus, it's very therapeutic and fun to do. These are the piping tips that I'll be using for this vintage cake. There are a few more that I incorporated in there, but I'll explain those as the video goes on. But this is what I'm using, as well as the colors. I took one pink and then I made different shades of that pink by making the base pink color first, which is the darkest color, and then adding white icing to lighten it up. I had no design game plan when I actually went into doing this cake. I just knew that I wanted to start with the bigger piping tips first and then work my way to the small intricate details. And I mean, it worked. It came out, it did what it was supposed to do. But again, if I would have planned ahead, then the process would have been much smoother. This was kind of a trial and error process for me, where I did make a few mistakes along the way, but because I'm working with a chilled cake, it was fairly easy to swipe off the buttercream and fix the error or adjust the issue to make it look a little bit better. So I did try to do kind of like the hanging drapes that go around the cake, but it didn't work out too well for me. I think I needed a stiffer buttercream in order to do that. But ultimately, in the end, I think that I probably just won't even incorporate that into my cakes anyways, because I like the style and the design without that part more than with it. So in the future, I think my vintage cakes will not come with the drapery. And as you can see here, I was trying something out, didn't really like it. So then I went back over it with something else, and I think it came out, much better than before. But that's just a part of the process. So in doing this, I did learn that I need to make a design checklist for myself for what will be included in this vintage cake. Because y'all, I cannot believe that I forgot the edible glitter and the edible gold leaf. What? Who does that? Not me, but I did this time. So a design checklist is going to be a must for creating this cake. Now let me show you all the little details that I made with my Cricut machine. Y'all let me know if y'all want a tutorial on how to create these custom toppers / decorations, because I'm proud of myself. Did y'all see how good that looks? So here I am trying to find the perfect front. If you know, you know. I'm taking my time to choose which side is the best side, and I think I found that side. So now I am adding on my custom toppers. I did have a white version and a brown version because your girl just couldn't decide. I couldn't decide which one. But ultimately, in the end, I ended up going with both, because why not? Why not? So we have a front and we have a back, and it's going to create more content for me to showcase two different types because I could not choose and decide. Oh, that is so cute. Yes, I was so proud of myself. And that just gave me the energy to push, because I am definitely going in the right direction, and I cannot wait to show y'all the finished product of this cake. Look at that. Look at it. Look at it, y'all. Look at it. Both sides. But I want to know your opinion. Which one do you think is better, the white or the brown? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on that. Before I show you the finished product, I want to talk about pricing really quickly. So I use my cake pricing calculator to help me cost out how much I would charge for this cake if it were custom. Because I want this cake to be a signature cake, I wanted to have a set price at a slightly more affordable price point than it would be for a custom order. After using my cake pricing calculator to cost out my time, the cost of supplies, my labor, and all of those other good things, I decided that I will be able to sell this cake at a price of $150. This will cover basically everything that is needed. And then I will also be able to offer this at a discounted rate. Now, this is lower than what I'm showing you here on the screen, but this is the price point that I want to set the cake at. I would love to know your thoughts on my pricing, and then I would also like to know how much would you charge for this cake, or if you were adding this to your menu as a signature item, would you change the price, or would you just charge what you would charge? Okay, because the cake is taller than the box, I got this hack from the Flower Girl, and where she cut out the top of the box so you can still have some form of coverage, but you're able to put the top on, right, without damaging the top of the cake. Now, of course, ideally it will be able to cover all of it, but in the case that, for whatever reason your boxes don't, this is another great hack, especially like if you have like toppers, toppers that are going to stick higher than majority of the cake boxes, then this is an option of what you can do. And now your cake is packaged and ready to be dropped off and delivered to your customer. I had so much fun making this cake, and I cannot wait to get it posted up on my website and add it as a part of my menu and start making some sales. But thank y'all for joining me in this video. I hope you loved it. If you did, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and let me know in the comments below what you loved the most. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Until then, peace.